Hello and welcome into Main Street Media TV High School Football Preview Show. It's the final one of the regular season 2025. That's right, I know it's hard to believe, but we've reached week 10, the final week of the regular season for TSSAA football, and next week kicks off those playoffs. Our Main Street Media sports editors and sports writers will be ready to give you the breakdown on what your favorite team needs to do to earn a playoff berth and possibly host a first-round game. Don't forget to get all the coverage from Friday night's game in your local Main Street Media newspaper, complete with photographs, thoughts from coaches, players' reactions, and so much more. To find out if your community is served by a Main Street Media of Tennessee newspaper, go to mainstreetmediatn.com. When you find your local newspaper, maybe consider signing up for a subscription so you don't miss any of the local news, sports, and more that your local newspaper has lined up for you every week. Okay. Let's get this final preview of the regular season started with David Wilson over in East Middle Tennessee.
Everybody, this is David Wilson, East Middle Tennessee Regional Sports Editor for Main Street Preps. Give you a quick preview of all the Week 11 games across Wilson and Rutherford County this week. We'll start things off in Wilson County, where the playoff teams have already been finalized heading into the final week of the season with Halloween ever approaching. 4 teams will fight for a state championship beginning next week. That will be Green Hill, who is your region champion in Region 4-6A, Friendship Christian, who we'll get to in a second, Watertown, and Lebanon. We'll start things off where on Thursday it is the battle for the Mayor's Cup, where Green Hill travels across town to face city rival Mount Juliet at Roger Perry Field. Green Hill has won this matchup 2 years in a row, is looking to make the three-peat against the host Golden Bears. Staying in Wilson County, a big one on Friday night, where Friendship Christian will travel to Nashville, where they will take on Nashville Christian and 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis. That one is a winner-take-all for the Middle Region title in Division II Single A. Friendship Christian with just one loss on the season. They are 8-1. They will take on, as I mentioned, Nashville Christian, who is 9-0 on the season, and your defending state champion in Division II Single A. Another big matchup on Friday. It's Watertown hosting Forest at Robinson Stadium in Wilson County. It's a big matchup for the Purple Tigers. If they win and defeat the visiting Rockets, they will be the 2 seed in Region 4-3A. If they lose, there's an opportunity where they would have to drop all the way down to the 4th seed in that region and travel to face state championship contender Tyner Academy in the opening round of the Class 3A playoffs. A couple matchups also in Wilson County this week with playoff teams that do not have any playoff impact on the standings. Thursday, Lebanon hosts Cookeville in Wilson County. Lebanon has already locked themselves into the number 2 seed in Region 4-6A, but they are looking for a 9-win season to close out the regular season with back-to-back wins. Also, Gallatin is hosting Wilson Central on Thursday night. Gallatin has locked themselves into the number 3 seed in that region as well. Wilson Central did not make the playoffs, but there is some history on the line. Running back Chaz Morton is just 49 yards away from walking away with the single season rushing title in Wildcats history. And then finally on Thursday, another one that does not have any playoff meaning, but a team can end their season with a victory. That is Mount Juliet Christian Academy, who is 1-8 on its season, traveling up to Montgomery County to take on Clarksville Academy, who's searching for their 4th win of the season. We do have some parity in Rutherford County this week as we enter the final week of the season. I guess it's scary season, spooky season. So Halloween, there will be some things on the line. Starting off on Thursday in Region 3-6A, it is a winner-take-all region championship between Riverdale and Oakland. Riverdale making the trip to Oakland to take on Kevin Creasy's Patriots, who are 9-0 on the season, 6-0 in region play. Riverdale 7-2 and 5-1 in region play. Also on Thursday, it is Rockville making the trip over to face Blackman. Stewart's Creek will take on Smyrna, and Laverne will take on Siegel. On Friday, it is a winner-take-all for a region championship as well in Division II at Single A's East region. That is MTCS, who's 5-2 on their season, 3-0 in region play, taking on PCA at MTSU, who is 7-2 on their season and 3-0. And also on Friday, Eagleville 6-3, traveling to take on 3-5 Fayetteville. Got a lot of matchups and scenarios going on in Rutherford County with the playoff standings. So we will keep our eyes posted on that. Rockvale wins their way into the playoffs and that number 4 seed with a win over Blackman. If they lose, though, Smyrna has the opportunity to leapfrog them and make the Class 6A playoffs. That'll do it this week on the preview. Looking forward to talking to you guys next week on the wrap up as we inch closer to some playoff football across the mid-state.
Thank you, David. Blaine Kellar has it teed up to share the games in North Central Middle Tennessee.
North Central Regional Sports Editor Blaine Kellar here. Judging by the clutter and mess around me, you can probably deduce that I will not be in town for the final week of the Tennessee high school football season. I will instead be in Chattanooga covering the girls soccer state championships, but rest assured, we've got a group of reporters and photographers armed and ready to cover the north central region of Main Street Preps. That's Sumner and Davidson and Williamson counties. Good for the online edition of MainStreetPreps.com, as well as in print in the Gallatin News, Hendersonville Standard, Portland Sun, and Main Street Nashville. There are a few games happening on Thursday. We'll start with the one in Sumner County, Wilson Central, the Wildcats heading to Gallatin. The Green Wave trying to lock up third place in the region standings. They've already secured a playoff berth, but can finish the regular season on a high note after back-to-back losses by beating Wilson Central. Other games, the big one in Sumner County being the battle for Drake's Creek rivalry between Beach and Hendersonville. The Buccaneers have scored 162 points across their last 3 games, and they're going to continue that trend to end the regular season against rival Hendersonville, which they've handled in the rivalry series recently. Other games include Davidson Academy at JP2. That's another Thursday game with playoff implications. JP2 trying to play out of the last place playoff spot in the middle region. Davidson Academy trying to hang on to 5th place for the postseason. Another big one in Region 6-5A being Portland at Station Camp. The Panthers have struggled recently, but with a win could secure 2nd place and a home playoff game for Coach Hunter Hicks' team. Station Camp coming off a win against Hunter's Lane that snapped the Bison's losing streak, a chance to go into the playoffs with some momentum. Other games include the region championship between Westmoreland and White House Heritage. That'll be a dandy of a game, deciding the top spot from that region. White House going up against Springfield, and Liberty Creek, led by freshman quarterback Barrett O'Brien, heads to Pearl Cone, a tall task in the Firebirds to end the regular year. As I mentioned in our Sumner County and North Central wrap-up show a few days ago, every Sumner County team is headed to the playoffs for the first time since 2021. There's a little less certainty in Davidson and Williamson counties. Could be some trick or treating happening on Thursday or Friday in Halloween. Here's the games that we have. A short schedule because of the holiday, but quality over quantity ahead. On Thursday, it's the Battle of the Woods between Brentwood and Ravenwood. Ricky Rodriguez trying to go unbeaten in his first regular season as Ravenwood's coach. Brentwood's been hot of late, though, winning the games that matter. Few wins in region play, and this will be a big-time decider for postseason seeding. The Raptors have a chance to finish perfect for the regular year. Brentwood has a chance to stall that against its rival. On Friday, MBA and Ensworth go up against one another. Big-time region matchup to end the regular season there in town between the Big Red and the Tigers. E.J. Gibson and Taylor Hasselback, plus Bishop Starling, have been a big-time plus to Ensworth's offensive attack. For NBA, 2-quarterback system seems to be working for first-year coach Chris Chauvin. Our CPA photographer Carl Edmondson has been all over the state these last 2 weeks, and he'll continue to do so as CPA goes on the road, finishing its regular season facing McCallie. Last week he was in Knoxville. This week he'll be in Chattanooga. So credit to Carl for the great photos of CPA, and to all these freelance writers, photographers that are helping us out as we cover fall sports championships. We've got you covered sport wide for all sports, high school sports, and happenings in the mid state. Be sure to stay tuned to MainStreetPreps.com. We'll see you in a few days for our wrap up show.
Thank you, Blaine. And it's time to stop, take a breath, hear from those amazing sponsors who support your communities, your schools, and your teams all year round. We'll be right back.
He shoots, and he scores!
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
We are back, and Maurice Patton is here to share an awesome slate of games in Southern Middle Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton. We have reached the final weekend of the regular season, and it's going to begin with a bunch of games down here on Thursday night. Obviously, some will have playoff implications, and let's start with one of those. Independence travels to Summit. The winner is the number 4 team in Region 6-6A. End of discussion. Independence goes into this matchup at 3-5 overall, 2-3 in Region 6-6A action. Summit 2-7, 1-4 in the league, and again, 4th place on the line when these two rivals meet in Southern Williamson County. Richland can win the Region 5 1A championship for the second straight year when they travel to Lynchburg, take on Moore County in a matchup of Raiders. The visiting Raiders, 7-2 overall, 3-1 in region play. If they win this one, they will hold the tiebreaker over anybody else that could tie them. So again, Richland with a shot at their second consecutive Region 5 1A championship when they go to Moore County. The host Raiders 2-7 overall, 1-3 in Region 5-1A action. In Region 5-2A, Summertown still harboring hopes of a postseason spot as they go to Adamsville on Thursday night. The Eagles 4-5 overall, 2-3 in Region 5-2A. The host Cardinals 6-3 overall, 3-2. Summertown can force a tie for third with Adamsville and Decatur County Riverside, and 2 of those 3 obviously would move on and go on the road to open playoff action in Class 2A. This one is pretty well already decided. Well, it's not pretty well already decided. It is decided. Spring Hill goes to Montgomery Central in a Region 5-4A matchup. The Raiders are already locked in as the number 2 team out of Region 5-4A. The Raiders 3-5 overall, 2-1 in region play. Montgomery Central 1-8 on the year, 0-3 in the region. But Spring Hill would like to take a little momentum into the postseason and a home game next week after that tough loss over at Marshall County this past weekend. So again, Spring Hill already locked as the 5-4A number 2 going to Montgomery Central in a region matchup to close the season. In a non-region matchup, Battle Creek is hosting Hickman County. The Bulldogs coming in at 2-7, Battle Creek 3-6. The Grizzlies also headed into postseason play in their first year of varsity football, but again, looking to pick up a little momentum here. 3-6, 4-6 in their first year would look awfully good as they go on the road to open playoff action next week. Another Region 5-2A matchup, and both these teams are already, their postseason fates have been decided. Mount Pleasant 7-2 on the year, 4-1 in Region 5-2A. They will move on as the number 2 team out of the region. They will host a game to open next to open state playoff action next week. Loretto, this will wrap things up for the Mustangs. They are 2-7 overall, 1-4 in region action. And again, this will close out the regular season, close out the season for the Mustangs as Mount Pleasant goes on the road on Thursday night. Finally, another non-region matchup has Lawson coming to Lawrence County. The Lightning 3-5 overall, Lawrence County 6-3. Looking for that 7th victory in a non-region matchup. Again, Lawrence County has already locked up the number 4 spot out of Region 4-5A, so they will be moving on to playoff action next week as well. On Friday, Zion Christian making the long trip to East Tennessee, taking on Providence Academy. This is a matchup of two 3-5 teams. Zion Christian not playing for the postseason in their first year back in the TSSAA, but a nice 4th win it would be for the Eagles if they can go on the road and pick this one up in the Tri-Cities area against Providence Academy. Huge Region 4-3A matchup, as it typically is when these two teams meet. Sequatchie County coming to the Brickyard, taking on Giles County. Sequatchie leading that region 7-2 overall, undefeated in Region 4-3A at 4-0. Giles County 6-3, 3-1, but the Bobcats are on a run. They have won their last 5 after a 1-3 start, and with the win, they can clinch the region championship here. So big matchup again at the Brickyard on Friday night when Sequatchie County comes to Giles County. Speaking of region championships, Columbia Central can get one at Tullahoma on Friday night. The Lions 5-3 overall, 3-0 in Region 4-5A. They have won 3 straight as well. Tullahoma coming in at 5-4 overall, 2-1 in region play. Again, Columbia Central can clinch a region championship with a win in this one over at Tullahoma on Friday night. That's going to do it from Southern Middle Tennessee. I'm Maurice Patton. We will see y'all as we talk playoffs next week.
Thank you, Maurice. Calvin White is also ready to share the great matchups in Northwest Middle Tennessee.
Hello, everybody. This is Calvin White, Northwest Regional Sports Editor for Main Street Preps, here to give you a quick preview of all the Week 11 high school football coverage in Montgomery, Robertson, and Houston County. We're going to start in Montgomery County. Cane Ridge is at Clarksville this week. Clarksville coming off a big win over undefeated Antioch last week. With a win over Cane Ridge, the Wildcats will end the regular season on an 8-game winning streak. They already clinched their region title last week in their win over Antioch. Antioch is at Rossview. Like I just mentioned, Antioch coming off a loss to Clarksville for their first loss of the season. The Bears looking to bounce back against Rossview, who is 4-5 and coming off a big loss to Nolensville. West Creek is at Greenbrier, a battle of 1-8 squads, both looking to end their 2025 season with a win. West Creek is at Greenbrier. Northwest is at Northeast for a big rivalry game this week. Another battle of 2-7 squads, both looking to end their season on a high note. Spring Hill is at Montgomery Central in region action. Montgomery Central is another Montgomery County team not having the greatest season, but looking to end their season with a win. They host Spring Hill this week. Mount Juliet Christian travels to Clarksville Academy for the regular season finale. The Saints come in at 1-8. Clarksville Academy 3-6, also looking to end its season with a win. Kirkwood travels to Henry County on Friday for the region championship game in that region. Kirkwood comes in 8-1, looking to clinch the region championship and home field playoff advantage through the state semifinals if the Cobras advance that far. And Kenwood is at Dixon County. Kenwood has already locked up its first playoff spot since 2021, but they can end the regular season at 6-4 with a win over the Cougars. In Robertson County, White House is at Springfield this week. With a win, Springfield will clinch second place in their region behind Pearl Cone and will clinch home field advantage for the first round of the playoffs. East Robertson is at East Nashville on Thursday for that region championship game. With a win, East Robertson will finish the regular season undefeated at 10-0 and will have home field advantage in the playoffs through the state semifinals if necessary. Like I mentioned a minute ago, West Creek is at Greenbrier. both looking to end their season with a win in a battle of 1-8 squads. White House Heritage is at Westmoreland. The Patriots will play for their region championship against the Eagles on Friday. Joe Burns is at Clay County. Joe Burns suffered a loss to Whitwell last week, looking to end its regular season with a win before the playoffs begin next week. Innovation Academy is at Red Boiling Springs. Whoever wins this game will clinch third place in Region 4 1A. And finally, in Houston County travels to East Hickman to take on the Eagles. Houston County already locked up a playoff spot, looking to end their regular season with a win and gain momentum heading into the postseason. As always, that'll do it for all of our Week 11 high school preview coverage in the Northwest region. I'm Calvin White. I'll talk to you again soon.
All right, Calvin, we've covered a lot of territory, but wait, there's more. So stay right there, and we'll be right back right after this.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Welcome back, just in time to hop over to Middle Tennessee.
What's up, folks? Wade Neely here. I'm your sports editor over in Hickman County, Dixon County, and Cheatham County, and it is time for a preview of what's on tap as we enter the final week of the regular season for high school football. Where did the time go? That's what I'm wondering, folks. I think that's what a lot of people are wondering. If they're not wondering that, they're wondering, who are we going to get in the playoffs? Are we going to make the playoffs? A lot of questions to be answered as we come into the final week of the regular season. Also, before we get things going, I want to mention that only one of our teams in our coverage area, all three of our counties, only has one team playing on Friday night. Most of the teams were either previously scheduled or early in the year decided not to play on Halloween, and they're going to play their games on Thursday. But what that means is Dixon County taking on Kenwood. That will be a Friday night showdown. So buckle up, folks. The rest of these games are coming your way early in the week. And we'll start in our southernmost territory as Hickman County is going to be going to Battle Creek to take on the Grizzlies. Tough luck last week as Hickman County fell at home in that rivalry showdown versus East Hickman. They looked to close it out with a non-region game on Thursday night versus Battle Creek. The other team in that county, East Hickman, they won that game. They're in the playoffs. They can also improve their seeding. They go on the road to Houston County. They host Houston County on Thursday night over there in Lyles. And if the Eagles can pick up a win, they will climb as high as the 3 seed in region play and entering the postseason. If they lose, yes, you're still in the playoffs, but you like to enter with a little bit of winning momentum, and you'd also certainly like to get that 3 seed if at all possible. Venturing north, I told you guys the Dixon County is going to Kenwood on Friday. That is going to be a fun one. The Cougs are safely in the playoffs, and they could also climb as high as the 3 seed. But whether it's the 3 or the 4, the Cougars are in the postseason picture as they take on Kenwood on Friday. Meanwhile, the most interesting scenario for all of our teams certainly involves Creekwood, because we know the Red Hawks are in the playoffs. And there's a lot of scenarios where Creekwood will finish as the 3 seed in Region 5 4A. However, if Creekwood can go on the road Thursday night and get a win at Marshall County, and Montgomery Central can take care of business versus Spring Hill, Creekwood would win Region 5 4A. So Creekwood is either going to finish first or they're going to finish third, but it's going to be a Herculean effort taking on a really good Marshall County team on Thursday no matter where they end up in the playoff picture, because Coach Osteen and that bunch at Marshall County always prepared and always a tough out. So a lot of drama, a lot of intrigue in our two teams there in Dickson County. Now we close up in Cheatham County. Cheatham County Central is the only team that is completely eliminated from the playoff picture entering the final week. One way to look at that, though, is they're the team that can spoil things the most. It'll be a big rivalry showdown as Cheatham County hosts Sycamore up in Ashland City on Thursday night. Sycamore could finish second, third, or fourth in Region 6 AAA. It kind of is just going to depend on if they take care of business and maybe one or two other things fall their way. But to finish as high as second, Sycamore will have to win and will have to avoid a Cheatham County bunch. A few plays and a few games have not gone their way. They're a quality team, and they will be out for a little momentum and a little spoiler role, shall we say, versus their rivals Sycamore. Should be a fun one on Thursday. Meanwhile, we close with our other game, our final game of the week. Harpeth is going to go on the road to Camden Central, and Harpeth is still mathematically alive for the playoffs. There's a couple different scenarios where they could get in, but all of them require a Harpeth victory at Camden Central. And with a 2-hour bus ride for a region game, you might as well treat it like a playoff game. So Coach Charles Moorhead and his gang, if they can go on the road and get the win at Camden Central, they will be in the playoffs. And if they can get that win, it will have felt like a playoff game, again, venturing 2+ hours to play the Camden Central Lions. So lots of stuff to break down. We will have all of that and much, much more online at mainstreetpreps.com, as well as in the Hickman County Times, Dickson Post, and Cheatham County Exchange. Wade Neely signing out. A final reminder, by the time you watch this, Thursday night broadcast of Main Street Preps Radio, East Robertson at East Nashville. It is going to be a dandy. I hope that you guys will tune in. Check our socials for links there. And you can also find us at mainstreetmediaradio.com. Hope you tune in. Hope you have a safe and festive Halloween, and I'll see you next time.
And that does it for this week's high school football preview show from Main Street Media TV. Don't forget that Main Street Media TV has some great college and professional football-based shows lined up for you this season. Make sure you keep your eye on your local newspaper social media pages or download the Main Street Media TV app where you can catch all our great programming every single day. Also, don't miss our high school football wrap-up show with these same sports editors and same sports reporters next Tuesday. Playoffs, the second season, it's ready to roll. Good luck to your team.